Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Devil Experience. My name is Eric. Hope everybody is doing well. We got the latest Manchester United breaking news. New owners. Well, I don't know. We're here again somehow, some way. Apparently, maybe, possibly. I mean, we're gonna get into it. There's a lot of news. There's a lot of information. Many people skeptical. I feel you. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. But there is a lot of sort of credibleness kind of to this, and we might be possibly back in a takeover bid once again. I'm super excited because this could be the possibility, and it could be the the realization, not the realization, but we might actually get a full takeover. Maybe, possibly. I mean, it's still very early. We still need more details. We still need more specifics. We still need a little bit more there. But there is some there. And I'm super excited because I mean, the possibilities out of this, out of the outcome of this, could be, I mean, just, it could be the dream. This could be the dream that we've all been dreaming for to a certain extent. I think there's some people out there that, I guess it depends on who is actually making the bid, the person themselves. Because when we get into it, it is coming from the UAE, which is the United Arab Emirates. But we don't know the specific person or group of people yet. Updates are coming out minute by minute, second by second, and hour by hour as well. So we're going to get into that stuff. But yeah, before we do, please make sure you smash the like button. It helps the channel grow. So if you want to help the channel out, make sure you get that done. If you don't do it for the channel, smash the like button for new owners. Yeah, I think we could all agree on that. But if you're new and you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe and you hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss a live and you hear from the very beginning and up to date. I think this is going to be a hot topic today. So I had to go live. I wasn't planning on going live. I told you guys the last time that I was live 2 days ago that if something major broke and, it was big, we'd have to do a live. And here we are. Was not expecting that it would be this, though. So usually I have the news pulled up on the screen, but I literally didn't have time. So let me just kick things off with this. I'll get to the chat. Keep chatting away. Keep putting in the comments. I'm going to get to you guys' thoughts and opinions, as I always do. But late last night, I was chilling. Yeah, I was hanging out, minding my own business, relaxing. And it was late. It was late for you guys. It was late for the Europeans. It was late for the people over in UK. I think most of you were sleeping. And wherever else you're from, Africa, South Africa, and any other part on the other side of the world from where I am. It was pretty late. And I'm hanging out, and about 2 out of the 100 of United accounts that I follow that give us the updates put up a post, and a little bit of a frenzy started going on with this guy named Turki Al-Sheikh. I definitely pronounced his name wrong, but so he posted late last night and said the happiest news I heard today is that Manchester United is now in an advanced stage of completing a deal to sell it to a new investor. I hope it will be better than the previous owners. Now, I wasn't really too familiar with this guy, but then once I looked into it a little bit, I was a lot more familiar because I didn't really care too much about what this guy was doing, but I have seen his face before, and obviously he's been involved with like the WWE and Saudi Arabia takeovers. He's got 7.5 million followers on Twitter. He's a real person. There was always the thing about Sheikh Jassim not being a real person. He's a real person. He's very credible. He's been all over sort of this sporting thing that the Saudi Arabia has been doing and going in and all of the deals that they're doing in the sporting wise. And he made this claim. Now, after this claim came out, many people figured that, it's probably Saudi Arabia linked. With the updates following, out of that, it's not Saudi Arabia linked per se. It's United Arab Emirates. But I'm just going to go to him since we're talking about him. I mean, the update, he doubled down because many people were calling bullshit. Many people not believing it. Many people, skeptical. And I get that. That's fine. I mean, why should you take the word of this guy? And we've been led down the path sort of too many times of things coming out and not being real or not seeing, there's no there of it. But he doubled down. He doubled down and he tweeted again about 3 hours ago and said, my yesterday's post about Manchester United's potential sale meant one thing. The club is in an advanced negotiation phase with a new investor. Just to clarify, I am not the investor, nor are they from my nation, meaning Saudi Arabia. I'm posting this as a fan who wishes the deal to happen, though it might not necessarily happen. Which is a little bit different than kind of what he said yesterday, because yesterday he kind of led it to a point of that it's in an advanced stage of completing a deal. I mean, he still kind of says that, United is potential sale is that the club is in an advanced negotiation phase. I mean, advanced negotiation stage for one person might mean different for somebody else. Now, there is a lot more details that we're going to get into. Let me just jump to the chat real quick because I can't actually see the chat. So let me get to the chat. Let me see what the chat is saying, and we'll fill in all the other stuff in between. Yeah, from that. So Axe is here. Axe is here. Lyle is here. Axe says hi and Glazer's out. And also says, how real is this, or is it bullshit? I mean, I'm just a regular guy like everybody else. I'm just like you, and I'm just like Lyle. I'm no different. I don't have inside sources. I don't think anybody really has inside sources. Even the most credible journalists were kind of left scrambling for news today. I mean, they were not. I mean, listen. Let's be fair. The British media is not going to know about this if it's coming from the United Arab Emirates. Yes, and that's why a person that's coming from the Middle East, who is a Manchester United fan, who probably has connections all over the Middle East and is a very high valuable person, kind of broke this in terms of he is a Manchester United fan. He comes from in and around the area, and I wouldn't expect anybody to really know about this, especially, journalists. But the things that journalists do is when there is a lead or when they hear a piece of news that they're not familiar with, their job is to follow it up, which is what they've done. People like Ben Jacobs and all these other journalists, they've been probably calling people all over the place and hitting up all the context they possibly can to try and get any information about this. So, I mean, I'm sure we'll see what's going to happen out of this over the next few days. But we don't know if it's 100% credible, and we don't know if it's 100% fake. I think there are some things to this that have a little bit of smoke to it. And I think there is always, a good reason to be quite cautious and not fully 100% bite on this, because it might not necessarily materialize. Lyle says the story came out of nowhere, though. Hey, sheesh. Well, I mean, it did. It did. And the thing is that, again, I still don't really expect... I think it's a bit in the early stages, yeah? Which is why, I mean, this sort of thing would come out of nowhere. If there is a group of people that would like to buy Manchester United, and the Glazers are not necessarily looking to sell Manchester United, because they already went through this process, this story would most likely, probably, in my opinion, it would kind of come out of nowhere, yeah? Because it's not like the Glazers are doing what they did in the past, where they make an announcement and they're looking to sell. And I think anybody that actually wants to buy Manchester United, whether it's technically for sale publicly or not, this story would have to kind of come out of nowhere. Also, I would expect, listen, if you're dealing with this high-level stake of business, you would have to kind of, have a certain plan in action and certain things in order before you actually kind of go public with this sort of thing, yeah? Lyle says, so what is UAE, not Saudi Arabia? Is it UAE or Saudi Arabia? It's not Saudi Arabia. It's the United Arab Emirates. Abu Dhabi has city. Saudi has Newcastle. Time for UAE to get involved. Axe says, yeah, Arabic countries are investing in sports, entertainment as their main source of income is going down with the turning away from oil exploration. Well, I mean, Listen, they just I mean Saudi Arabia just purchased Electronic Arts as well, who make FIFA, yeah? And listen, I don't really want to do the whole political thing in terms of, you know, their culture and stuff like that, whatever. Um in that sort of sense, money washing and all that stuff. People have a lot of problems with the way they operate, yeah? And I'm not turning down any of that sort of argument. I get it, but in terms of what you see with what they're doing when it comes to sports, what you see with what they're doing with the investments that they're doing, all I can say is they are getting involved. And as a fan of Manchester United that has been owned by the most cretin, most miserable, worst owners you could possibly have, to own something that you love, what I've seen from the people in the Middle East that have been getting involved in sports, they actually want to make the things that they're buying and owning great. And you know, it's good for them and it's good for the fans of whatever they're owning, yeah? And I think they make everybody is sort of happy with that sort of thing. So I think it's great. I think it's great. I'm here for it. I would love nothing more than the Glazers to leave. I don't really care about their background. To me, at the end of the day, if you make Manchester United great again, and you make Manchester United what Manchester United is supposed to be, and you do right by the football club, and you don't destroy necessarily the values of the football club that we hold, I don't have a problem. You could be from Uzbekistan, the Middle East, Antarctica. I don't give a shit. As long as you treat the club properly, with respect, and want the best for us and make us the best. You know, it doesn't really bother me. I know some people have other opinions about it. That's fine. You can hold those opinions, but it really doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Axe says, but why would Glazers desire to sell, especially now? I think everybody has a price, Axe. I don't think they necessarily need to sell, and maybe they aren't really, maybe they're not really looking to sell. I don't think we've gotten that far yet from the updates that I've read, and I'm going to get into this stuff, but I kind of just want to do a quick, you know, topic, opinionated discussion. From the things that I've read so far, it doesn't seem like this, I guess, investor or takeover, whatever you want to call it, situation has gone to the point. Now, this guy, Turkey, yeah, is saying that they're in an advanced stage of completing a deal. But from the other updates that I've seen, it seems like maybe in terms of advanced, it's not advanced between whoever these guys are and the Glazers. Now, there's a lot of semantics into this because Manchester United is on the New York Stock Exchange. There are certain rules when it comes to selling. I know we're a football club, but bear with me. When it comes to selling a business listed on the New York Stock Exchange, there are a lot of rules. There are legalities. There are certain things that you can and cannot do. We've been through this before a little bit, but there's still a big discrepancy over the fact that if it is advanced, I've seen many big accounts arguing that, you know, the fact that they've come out and denied, apparently the club have denied this. They're in the dark. They don't really know what is going on or what these reports are talking about. But I did a little bit of digging, and supposedly, in the plainest and simplest terms, they don't really have to announce that they're negotiating a deal. Until the deal is maybe basically done, yeah? So if they're asked if there is a deal done, they can deny that there's a deal done because there's no deal done. They don't have to say that the deal is being worked on right now. And then what they do is, once the deal is done, if a deal is done, but let's say it is for argument's sake, if the deal is done, they then have to announce it. They can't like keep it under wraps. They can't keep it hidden for a certain period of time and then announce it later. They would have to announce it, and they would announce it by making certain filings to what is called the SEC, which is the Security Exchange I don't even know what it stands for, but basically they're in charge of the stock exchange. Yeah. Um, Now, Axe asked, but why would the Glazers desire to sell? They might not necessarily have a desire to sell, but it depends what this offer could be. I mean, if these guys, if the Glazers are still valuing Manchester United at 5-6 billion, and these guys come in and give them 6-7 billion, maybe maybe they take it. I mean, maybe they take it. Maybe they offer them 8 billion. I don't know. We don't know how much money these guys are actually potentially offering. That information has not come out yet. But the update that we got is that, the Glazers would consider offers of more than £5 billion for their stake in Manchester United. And just for clarification, I mean, Ben Jacobs was on the United stand. He talked about this earlier in the day, but we'll go over it again just in case anybody missed any of the information. There was a bit of a confusion. So it's not from Saudi Arabia. It's also not from Qatar. It's the United Arab Emirates. United sources are in the dark, and they deny that anything is advanced or close. However, there could potentially be a possibility that the Glazers independently speaking to investors, which I think is a big possibility. And actually, I think as well, I'm not trying to give anybody false hope. This is just solely my opinion. I think if the Glazers weren't publicly looking to sell, and somebody out there wants to sell, and they go to the Glazers, I kind of feel like the Glazers are the type of people in this situation that they're not going to be announcing to the world that there is a potential for a takeover and we are in negotiations if they don't have to. If by legal law they don't have to do any announcement, I don't think the Glazers would do. The Glazers barely speak to the media as it is. Why would they go and do that? They don't care. All they care about is themselves and their money. So they don't have to announce anything. They don't need to tell the fans. We're not important to them. It doesn't matter. And also, I think if you're the investor or the guy trying to buy, or the consortium, whoever it is, trying to buy the football club, I mean, you wouldn't really want it to come out until you basically, the deal is pretty dead on, and you announce the whole thing. So I think there is a possibility that if it is real and it is substantial, it could happen. It could happen, but we need to know what's with the whole thing. Yeah. Lucky says no and says, I want British laws in our country. I don't know what that means. Axe says, well, it can always go worse, but a new management would be good at this point. I'm going to be quite honest, Axe. I don't really think it can get much worse. Yeah. I mean, it depends who it is. Again, we still need to find out. We still need to find out a little bit more information. Like, what is the actual bid? If there's going to be a bid, how much money is going to be behind it? Who is the actual people behind it? How much money they have? And who they are and what kind of background they have. Yeah, to that certain extent. But looking at it generally, if it's coming from somewhere in the Middle East and going based off of what they've been doing at all the other football clubs and in sports, I don't think you can get much worse than the Glazers. Yeah, because if you're buying, I think anybody that is actually coming to buy Manchester United for the price that they're going to have to pay, you would have to have a lot of money. And I just feel like these guys from the Middle East, like, they actually care about the sport. And it's not something that, like, they're necessarily doing just to solely make money. Like, these guys aren't buying football clubs to run them as businesses. Yeah, they're buying football clubs because they want to be known for greatness. They want their name to be known in terms of football. They enjoy football. They're football fans. And they have this thing where, like, winning is the greatest thing ever, and they want their football clubs to do it. So I don't think it can get any worse, really, because we have the total opposite of that. We have two guys that don't know anything about the sport, knew nothing about the sport, don't give a shit about the sport, literally have used our football club as a business and only a business, and it's only always ever going to be a business. And they don't, I mean, one of the updates is that they think United can be worth 10 billion regardless of how we do on the pitch, which literally just tells you, I mean, how they've been running this football club for probably since they got here, but definitely since Sir Alex retired. It got even worse. Yeah. So, what do you mean they already saw? All right. Lyle says if the club gets respected and the club comes first, it will be good. But my concern is the sports washing coming from the part of the world. Sport is being used to change the perception of them. Listen, I get it, and if that's a concern of you, I mean, listen, if it's a concern for you, it's your concern at the end of the day. And I get it, and I'm not here to really argue with anybody about that. And it's your right to have that sort of concern and sort of opinion. Again, I'm a little bit different. I mean, there are some things that are quite atrocities, but again, I do fully believe to a certain extent, yeah, that, I mean, I don't live in their country. I'm not from their country or countries. I'm not part of their culture. They have a different culture. And I kind of believe that each place has the right to have their own culture and their own rules and their own laws. And who are you to kind of infringe upon that to a certain extent? Yeah. And also, you know, I don't live there. I'm not from there. So there's a lot of things that get reported in the news and the media. And, you know, you could have arguments all the time. Again, my view is personally and solely from a Manchester United and how good can we be standpoint. Yes. Because I'm going to be quite honest. Yeah, they're sports washing, and maybe they're not. Maybe they do some bad things that people disagree with because you come from a different place and a different culture, and that's not how it runs in your country, or, you know, your background, or what you're used to or what you grew up on. But the way I also kind of look at it is when you're dealing with billions and billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, I mean, it's very quite hard to find anybody that has not a bad thing about them. If it's not this bad thing, it's that bad thing, and if it's not that bad thing, they got this bad thing going on. So I don't know. To me, it starts getting into a conversation of, well, what are you going to pick, the lesser of two evils? Yeah, and that's why I kind of look at it more of just you know, from a sports view, and try not to get too political about it. But I mean, again, I think the biggest thing I would say is if they treat Manchester with respect, if they treat the fans with respect, they treat the club with respect, um, you know, and they take care of that surrounding area, the local people, and the rest of the people around the world, I can't really have any complaints when it comes to my football club. But I mean, we don't even know who it is yet, yeah? So we got to see. We got to see. Lucky, I'm gonna give you an update about Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Yeah, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. There was a clause that he did with the Glazers, that it was called I think it was called the drag-on clause, where for the first 18 months after Sir Jim Ratcliffe bought his shares from the Glazers, for 18 months, if somebody came and offered the Glazers a deal to buy the club, and the Glazers accepted it, Sir Jim had first rights to buy, and he could match it. And if he did match it, he would then own the football club, and the other person trying to buy it would lose out. Yeah. Well, that clause was available there for 18 months. It expired in August. So right now, if the Glazers, let's say they put in this bid and the Glazers accepted, Sir Jim Ratcliffe can do absolutely nothing about it. The only thing he could do is offer more money and outbid whoever's bidding for it, and basically beat out on the bid, but the Glazers don't even need to accept that. I mean, if the Glazers do a deal under wraps and they don't have to tell Sir Jim Ratcliffe about it, and they complete the deal, Sir Jim is forced into a sale automatically. So Ineos is gone, the Glazers are gone, and we get a 100% brand new ownership, which is literally what I've been asking for. X says, yeah, coming from that part of the world, it's both a financial move and a geopolitical one, but will it be good for us? I think it could definitely be good for us. I don't see why it wouldn't. If they have tons of money and they don't want to run Manchester United like a business, I think, how can it be bad? We are drastically falling behind. We are drastically falling behind. And we need, and I said this a few shows ago, ultimately what we need at this football club is new owners. Look at all the other football clubs that got new owners, and look how they go up, and look how it's like it's like new life into the football club. We need new owners to catch up, because we need new owners with money, with a ton of money, because our problem is our current owners, which is the Glazers, I'm not talking about Ineos, our current owners have destroyed this football club in a financial way. Not for themselves, but for the club itself. And we need money. We need money, because look at all the other clubs. I mean, the money that Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea are spending, and then also getting in the Champions League and being in the Club World Cup, and we're not in these competitions. We are drastically falling behind. The only way we catch up like this is if we get a new owner, and literally, again, doesn't matter where it is from the world, but if they have tons of money and we get a new owner and their goal is make Manchester United great again, and we will do what it takes to make Manchester United great again, and we will invest as much money as we can and need to make Manchester United great again. It is total opposite of what we currently have. So I think it could be really, really good for us. Lyle says, it's only a concern, LOL, but if my club is better for it, well, no, that's what I'm saying. You know, it's fine. It's fine. You're allowed to have, yeah, the drag along clause. There you go. Axe says, also Ratcliffe is prepared to fire more people working his factories. So yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So, Grace says, breaking, I'm taking over, bitches. 343 stays haters. What an entrance, yeah, from Grace. I love it. I love it. What an entrance from Grace. Grace for president, Grace for prime minister, Grace for new owner of Manchester United. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Grace, let me know when you talk to the Glazers, yeah? Let me know when you get the Glazers in the room. I gotta be there. I'm gonna show up unannounced. Wink wink. But all right, let's get to the details, yeah? So we can get the story straight with each other. And then we'll get into whatever you guys opinions, thoughts, concerns, whatever it is. So let me just hit this in the way that we need to do. So again, I got to go back in time a little bit. This was from 7 hours ago. We're going to go right up to date. There's still stuff coming out literally right now as we're talking. So I promise I will get to the most recent and newest news. Please make sure you hit the like button. Again, it is important, and I greatly appreciate it. So make sure you smash that like button. We got... So thank you. But yes, so Simon Stone, 7 hours ago, Manchester United sources have rejected claims made by Turki Al-Sheikh. The club is sorry, let me start that over. Manchester United sources have rejected claims made by Turki Al-Sheikh that the club is in advanced negotiations over a sale to a new investor. Again, when they say the club, I don't like that term, because it's one thing if the people at Manchester United or the club, the entire club, knows about it. But again, the Glazers are, I don't consider the Glazers the club, because I just feel like the Glazers are the Glazers, and they literally separate themselves from the football club. I mean, think before Ineos was here, yeah, the Glazers barely spoke to any of the employees at Manchester United. They barely showed their face. The only one they probably really talked to is the CEO and whoever's on the board. They didn't really give a shit about anybody else. And if they don't need to tell Sir Jim Ratcliffe about this deal, why would anybody know about it besides them and the party that they got to negotiate with? And also, they don't need to tell anybody about it. So, and really, it's kind of their way. They don't talk to the media. They don't like the media. They've never liked the media. When they did these things with the Buccaneers, they didn't per se use the media until they needed to use the media to get the leverage that they wanted. I think right now there's no reason for them to do that, especially if it's kind of in an early sort of advanced stage. Yeah. So one of the updates was the group looking to invest in Manchester United referenced by Turkey are from the UAE, and that was from Talk Sport. And that was coming from Alex Crook as well. And one of the things that, Ben Jacobs said and Alex Crook said, and that's why there is kind of maybe possibly a little bit of there, is that apparently several Manchester United legends have been approached about potentially investing in the club. So this UAE consortium or person or whoever it is has apparently already gone to several Manchester United legends and approached them about investing in the club in some sort of way. And I did see that it could be ambassadorial roles or something like that, or maybe they would be sort of minority owners in some sort of way with them, which is absolutely interesting. That, I mean, Alex Crook and Ben Jacobs. But this is the funny thing. I mean, this has obviously, it's not like just this. It's not like they just woke up yesterday and they were like, all right, we're going to go call up the Glazers. We're going to go buy Manchester. They've obviously been working on this a little bit. And there's got to be something there for this to come out the way it's coming out. And again, it's not that the Glazers were necessarily looking to sell, but again, at the end of the day, I think everybody and everything in this world, I mean, some people are very strong on their laurels, but we're talking about the Glazers here. I think they have a price. It's just if somebody wants to give them the money that they ask for, yeah? That's the only thing that keeps the Glazers here. I think if somebody walked up to the Glazers right now and they were like, here's $8 billion for Manchester United, the Glazers would be like, okay, thank you for the money. We'll see you later. Yeah? But it's you got to have somebody there willing to give them the money, which is very hard because it is a lot of money and there's only so many people in the world that are going to be willing to do that sort of thing, and that are going to be interested in it. So 1 hour ago, Chris Wheeler, a consortium based in the United Arab Emirates, is understood to be considering making an offer to the Glazer family to buy Manchester United and have already approached some ex-United players about coming on board as ambassadors. The thing why this is so hard is the British journalists and media are going to be constantly playing catch-up. They're not going to be in the know on this, just like they weren't in the know, really, when the Glazers were looking for an investor or looking to sell. They weren't really in the know. The only way that they were kind of getting in the know is probably Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because he's British and he's got connections or friends, in the media because they're British. But from the other side, Sheikh Jassim, I mean, they had absolutely no clue what was going on, or Qatar or whatever it was. And probably this is the same. I mean, these guys from the United Arab Emirates, the only way they're going to probably get information is when they decide that they want to give them information. So the thing is that you got Turkey coming out and saying that they're in an advanced stage. Then you got all the British journalists coming out, and now there is a consortium apparently in the United Arab Emirates that is looking to make an offer now. Apparently, they didn't know about it before, but now they seem to know about it. But then Apparently they haven't put the bid in. I mean, I wouldn't expect them to know if they put the bid in. You didn't know about this till literally yesterday. So you know, it's a bit hard to follow because these guys aren't going to actually be up to date on all this. Yeah. Grace says I have money. I robbed the London bank. And I can't stay long. I'm on the run. I'm a fugitive now. Well, Delo said you could take refuge at his house if you need to hide. So you know, you could kind of hang out there for a little bit, lay low, till the heat cools off, and then you know, work on your next move. Lucky says yes, failing on pitch is hurting Glazers and want an investor. I don't think failing on the pitch is hurting the Glazers. I think the Glazers just made $1 billion from selling some of their shares to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. The Glazers paid absolutely nothing for this club. The value of this club keeps going up, even though we have been shit for 12 years. Yeah? The value of this football club keeps increasing, and we have been shit. So they are right. Now, they could maybe make way more money, way more, but they're not wrong in a way. And I don't know how they've actually been doing it, and I don't know actually how they've been getting away with it, but they're not wrong. Are they wrong? You know, we have been shit for 12 years, and the club's value keeps increasing, and they keep figuring out a way to do it. And I don't know how, because to me it doesn't really make sense. But they've found a way to do it, and I believe them when they say that they believe that they think Manchester United will be valued 10 billion in the next 5 to 10 years or whatever it is, because that's the trend that's been going on. I mean, the value of the club 12 years ago, I don't know what it was. It's definitely doubled at the very least. And we have been shit. And we haven't won a Premier League. So they're not technically wrong. I think if we were like still super successful, I think I think it could go up way faster and way quicker than it is going up, but it's going up one way or another, somehow, some way. I don't know. I'm not an expert in those sorts of things. Axelor says, was it Turkey or what's his name? Well, Turkey has said the things that, yes, Turkey was the one that announced it. Lyle says this deal goes through and Ineos is out, would be peak Glazers. Well, it would be peak Glazers. I was talking about this with my father earlier while I was at work. And I was just like, you know, because my head does this thing where I start, and I think you guys see it in the show sometimes. I jump from one point to one point because my head starts thinking of something. Then another idea spurts out of that. It's like trees, yeah? It's like a tree with a bunch of branches. And I was just like, I'm thinking about what's going on. And I'm like, what if the Glazers, you know, now it's like conspiracy sort of stuff, but I'm like, what if the Glazers use Sir Jim? And I was like, what if this was kind of the plan? They got this guy to pay $1 billion. They got $1 billion for the shares. They still own that. They can ask for another 6 for the rest of their shares. They'll get 7 billion out of it in total within the span of a year or two. You know, and also they got Sir Jim to bring in record revenue, the highest revenue we've gotten, because Sir Jim is making all these cuts and doing all these things. He's doing all the work for them. And he's got them to get a new stadium approved. Yeah? The Glazers didn't have to do any of this. They got Sir Jim. Sir Jim's doing all the work for them. This drag-on thing has expired. And if somebody comes in and gives the Glazers 6 billion or 7 billion, and that's what they want, and they go deal done, they've just pulled an absolute masterclass out of their ass once again. Yes. So, you know, it would be peak Glazers. It really would, to do some sort of thing like this. Lyle says also, not all the Glazers want to stay in United. It's only Joel and Avram holding on for dear life. The rest of the siblings want out. The rest of the siblings want out because they just want the cash. Yeah, they want their cash because they want to go do they want to go do other things with the cash. The reason why Joel and Avram keep holding this thing onto dear life is because, again, to them it is a cash cow asset, and it is basically, Manchester United is basically, what is the word I'm looking for? It's passive income to them. It's passive income. They don't run this thing. They don't have to really put in much effort to this thing, and it has continued to make them money. And also, from a standpoint, I mean, they never paid for this thing. They never will pay for this thing. And when they do sell it, it's basically all free money. It's like us selling an academy player for pure profit. Yeah? That's what it is. The Glazers, when they do leave from here, and if they do actually leave from here, all the money that they get is pure profit, which makes me sick to my stomach. It does. I can't stand it. I hate it. I hate the fact that they were able to pull such a, you know, it's a disgrace. It's disgusting. I can't believe that it's like a reality and that it's something that was actually allowed to happen. Because you know what? At the same time, not only did they do it to Manchester United, but I think they are word that I can't use. Yeah, I think they did it not only to United, but I think they did it to the country of England as well. Yeah, because I view Manchester United as one of the great institutions of the UK, and these guys have come in and are word, and you know what I'm talking about, United and England, because they absolutely just dirtied and soiled a great British institution. And I have always hated it, and it infuriates me thinking about it, that, you know, these guys did this, and let's just say they sell it for 7 billion. They walk away with not 7, 8 billion, put it in debt, left the debt, and these guys got to pay the debt, plus the other money that they already took out before. The 8 billion I'm talking about, 7 billion in a sale, 1 billion that they got from Sir Jim. I'm not even adding in the dividends. So, but yes, not all the Glazers want to sell, but the reason why Joel and Avram hold on to this is because it's passive income, and this thing keeps going up. And if you're an investor or you're a business type of guy, why would you want to get out of the game? Why would you want to get out of the game when your asset keeps going up? You know, it's like, Bitcoin is a bad example, yeah? But let's just say you took a loan from the bank and you bought Bitcoin when it was $1,000, yeah? And that loan for the bank, you put it into the Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, let's just say it's not volatile, yeah? And it just kind of kept going up and up and up and up and up. And then you find out, oh, that loan from the bank, we never have to pay that back for the Bitcoin. Would you ever just really kind of sell the Bitcoin if it just keeps going up? And then you kind of look and you're like, well, Bitcoin the next 10 years is going to be worth like 500,000 instead of 100,000 right now. Why would you sell? Why would you kind of sell? Unless somebody comes and is like, hey, you know, all that Bitcoin you got, we'll give you, you know, this amount, and like 0.75 more, or maybe 1 times more than what it's valued right now. And then, you know, yeah, you know what, maybe I will take it. Maybe I'll take it. Lucky says, Jim Ratcliffe, make a bid, please. No, I'm sorry about that. Listen, I've been on this channel, and I've given Ineos a chance. And I've tried to give Ratcliffe a chance and all this, but I've always said from the very beginning, I was not a person that actually wanted Sir Jim Ratcliffe as owner. Now, if it was a full ownership, maybe I would have went with it. But what we had at that time was Qatar full ownership, Sir Jim Ratcliffe partial investment. I did not want the partial investment. We got the partial investment. And my thing is, again, I'm a true believer in the money sort of thing. And I just don't know. I like the thing that I do believe that Manchester United should be sort of self-sufficient in its own way, because I don't have a problem with that, because Manchester United was basically self-sufficient before the Glazers absolutely fucked our club. And made us just like, you know, destroyed. But so we should be self-sufficient anyway. We were once upon a time self-sufficient anyway. So I like that, but because of what we've been through, I am a firm believer we need a shit ton of money, and we needed ASAP to get back to a level sort of playing field. And it will still take a couple years. It's not like you throw all the money and boom, 1 year in, we're going to be fixed. I still believe if you have the proper money, and I'm talking about a lot of money, I still think it would take, 2 to 3 years to really sort it out. But I think we need a lot of money. And I don't think Sir Jim would be able to put up the money that maybe somebody from the Middle East that has this kind of money, like the Saudi Arabia or Manchester City owners or something like that, that have put up and can put up. So I'm all for a new takeover. Grace is breaking. Nobody knows what's happening, and we should all go at the beach and find some talent, some talent to relax. Well, I'm with you on that. We'll just go. We'll just go. Axe says, bro, imagine if the new owners get rid of Ineos and of Amarim, the ultimate
No.
Axe trip dream. Well, I'll tell you this, Axe. If they buy the football club, Axe, whoever this consortium is, if this thing actually happens, yeah, Ineos are gone. So you'll get at least half of your dream for the very most part, yeah? 0.75 of your dream will be completed, Axe. The Glazers will be gone. Ineos is gone. Because there's just... Ineos doesn't stay. They can't stay. They have no say. They have absolutely no say. So... Now... and they'll be gone. So, and then, Al-Marine will still be here. I'm going to be quite honest. If you're brand new ownership, 100%, and you've just bought the football club, I would kind of expect a new manager. I would kind of expect literally new everything, if I'm being honest. New staff everywhere, especially if you have the money that I think these guys, or I hope these guys have. I would expect literally new everything. New everything. From the club, from top to bottom, new everything. New everything, 100%. Whether they do that immediately, I mean, I don't think... I think if we were to get new owners, I don't think Ruben would continue to be the manager, yeah? Probably after some point. It also depends when the deal goes through and, all that sorts of stuff. So, maybe you would get your full, surely though Ineos would get their money back because they would get whatever they're doing. No, they get the money back 100%. They get whatever percentage of shares they have, whatever the deal that they do with the Glazers. So, for example, I don't have the shares available right now, but let's just say Manchester United share is selling at $15 a share. Yeah. If the deal with the Glazers from UAE, let's say it comes out to a total package of they do a deal and they sell it's $20 per share for all of the Glazer shares, yeah? Ineos also own that, so 29% of that, they're going to get $20 a share as well. So they will get their money, and in fact, they will probably be making a profit on their initial investment because they bought it for a certain price. And I would expect the Glazers to, if they're gonna sell, it would be more value than what they asked per share for Sir Jim's 1 billion in that. So they're gonna get paid. It's not like they just get kicked out and they walk away with absolutely nothing. They own 29%. So it's just that they can't stop the sale from going through. Whereas before August, there was a big chance for them to stop it. And also, the Glazers actually would have to go and disclose it with Ineos. Now, they don't have to disclose anything. They don't need to tell them anything. They could literally just do a deal, and they could ring up Sir Jim and be like, oh yeah, by the way, we sold the club. Your payment will be coming X whatever. See you later, and hang up the phone. So, yeah. 1 Bitcoin equals 120,000. Holy shit! Yeah, yes. Steph is here as well. Shout out Steph. Says 8 likes, 17 watching. Let's get those likes up, people. please and thank you. Hit that, smash that like button. If you don't do it for the channel, you don't do it for me. Do it if you're excited for new owners, yeah? Or potentially new owners. Steph says, I hope I'm wrong, but I have a horrible feeling this is another Glazer anchor strategic investment. Well, it's a good point, Steph, because we kind of been getting carried a little bit away of, you know, total buyout. Worst case scenario, I think, because I think worst case scenario is probably worse than this other scenario. Worst case scenario, Steph, is there's a strategic investment, and now there's a third party involved in Manchester United, and we got a triangle of love going on at this football club. That would be the worst, probably, situation ever. Because now the club is getting split into thirds, and you got the Glazers, you'll have Ineos and Sejim, and then you have this other consortium. That would be probably that's probably the worst case scenario. I hope that doesn't happen. If that does happen, I might have a total meltdown, because I think I think that situation would be quite shit. I think having two sort of owners, as we are right now, is already quite shit. Yeah? I want my football club to do good, and I want the powers that be to do the fucking job that they need to do. And I always try to hope that they actually do something good. But the reality is, the fact that we have two owners right now, two separate different owners, is shit. I've also always stated that I think the position is that, like, again, Sir Jim probably can't do as much as Sir Jim maybe would like to do, because he's the minority owner and he's kind of there with one hand tied behind his back. It's his fault, because he agreed to the deal and, you know, he signed off on it. But yeah, that would be the worst possible scenario. Second worst possible scenario is that this is either fake or just doesn't actually materialize to anything, which would be sad and heart crushing. But you know what? I've been through a lot of hard things in my life. I'm up to put myself out there to get hurt again. I don't give a shit. Axe says all the bitcoins in the world won't buy you Jupiter. Well, I don't know about that. I think if you had Elon Musk money and you wanted to buy Jupiter, I think he could buy Jupiter if he really wants. If you have Elon Musk money, you could probably buy Jupiter. I mean, who's going to stop him? He's the only guy that's able to go to space anyway. So if he wants to buy Jupiter, I think he could buy Jupiter. So, Lucky's with the current manager and team stay. Well, listen, I still like Ruben Amorim. I would actually probably want to see if somebody comes in and gives him. I would actually love if they came in, if new owners came in and they went to Ruben, listen, whatever you want to do to this thing, and not just him, you know, get new people in, but basically what I would like is for them to look at the current squad and be like, yeah, that's fucking shit, rip it all apart and invest, I don't know, ridiculous amount of money, 500 billion immediately, ASAP. Of course, you know, under the regulations and guidelines and not breaking any rules or laws, but 500 billion or whatever immediately. Brand new squad, brand new everything. This is what I say, brand new everything. I would love nothing more than a complete reset, 100% top down. I would like to see what Ruben would do with that, but I'm gonna be real, and I don't think Ruben would stay. He might stay in the beginning, yeah. He might stick around maybe a season or something. I mean, it depends when this thing happens. He might stick around. But generally, like I said before, when you got somebody that's new and buys something, whether it's a company or a football club, they like to instill all their own people, yeah? And Ruben isn't going to be their pick. Now, they maybe Ruben's lucky and they like him. Maybe they're fans of Manchester United. I don't know these people, yeah? So maybe he doesn't necessarily go, but generally. Steph says new water feature at Old Trafford. Only when it rains, though. Yeah, so far. And X says the triangulation would be the worst case scenario. No, that would be terrible. That would be terrible. We don't want that. We don't want that. I would rather this whole thing be fake. I would rather this thing be, you know, one big joke and everybody got fooled and you're all dumbasses for believing this. I'd rather have that than have some third party come in and the Glazers sell, I don't know, 15% to them for another billion, and now we have 3 different things going on at this football club, because that, I think that would just be an absolute disaster. So we wouldn't want that. We need a unification ownership title bout if Holy Trinity of owners happens. Boy, yeah, we don't need that. Me and friends want stability in the club. We only just on January market. Well, listen. I am with the manager. Let him stability and his team, says Lucky. Well, listen, it's not up to any of us, Lucky. At the end of the day, again, I keep saying this and people don't like it and people don't like to admit it, but we don't really have any control over our football club and what happens to it. We do have a slight sliver, but a lot of things would need to come together and happen for that to happen. And we only seen it once, and it was during COVID when we got the Liverpool match canceled. Yeah, that was the only time our fan base over the Super League. That was the only one and only true time that our fan base was 100% unified to the maximum. The only time. And you know what? I'll be fair, it wasn't even 100% unified. About 90%, 95%, which is still a lot more than it ever has been before and ever will be, probably. So, yeah, other than that, we basically have no say. And we have like no power unless we were able to get to that circumstance. Make the low captain, says Grace. Access, seriously now, Jupiter's too far away. We've never ever reached Mars, at least. Also, not a lot to exploit in Jupiter, as far as I know. It's all gas. That's what they want you to think, Axe. That's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to think. But hold on, let me get to the other updates, yeah? That I didn't get to yet. So the newest of newest updates. Let's get to them when I find them. Dorgu has scored a goal, by the way. Little side note. And Rasmus Højlund has gotten 2 goals and 1 assist. Denmark versus Belarus. International duties. Where is the things that I was reading before I went live and while I was live? I need to refresh. Yeah, I've been telling you that we need to revolt. We, Gen Z, can make it. Well, you, Gen Z, I'm not Gen Z. I'm not a Gen Z. I'm not a Gen Zer. That's up to you guys. You could do it. I agree. I've been saying that for quite some time, but I just don't see it happening. So there's no. I don't really waste my time on it. You know, I don't really waste my time on things that aren't, here with us. If I see things happening, yeah, I'll jump in and back it 100%. But I'm gonna waste my time talking about it because I don't see any movement coming from it. And also, we won't get it, Axe, unless the club is maybe absolutely, does something. It's got to be something despicable like the Super League to really piss off basically everybody. But yeah, I am a zillennial. I'm not a boomer. I'm not a boomer. I will be a boomer one day, but I'm not a boomer. I'm not even unk yet. I'm not even unk yet. I'm not even a father yet. So, keyword yet. Although it's kind of I am kind of a father because Harry Amos is my son and Kobe Mainu is my son. Yeah, so in that sense, I'm a stepfather. Um, I'm just looking to get some of the update. I glossed over some things for sure. So, I mean, just real quick to hit on some other stuff. And I need to call this out. I don't know if any of you guys are aware, but there's an account called Indie Kyla, whatever the hell his name is. And this guy got shouted out by David Ornstein in the summer transfer window. Yeah, breaking, I don't know, one story. And Ornstein put it out after him and then gave him a shout out on Twitter for putting out the information first. Yeah. And ever since then, it was probably the worst thing David Ornstein's ever done, because this person or people or account, whatever, they literally use Manchester United's name and make up bullshit, and they make up posts because obviously United gets them the most clicks and attention, and they keep putting out bullshit posts ever since that day. And literally a couple of days ago, they said they put out an announcement. They hyped it up all day. They put it out an announcement saying Bruno Fernandes already agreed a deal to go to Saudi Arabia for next summer, 100 million, Manchester United, blah, 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 blah. And they're full of shit, and there's no deal agreed. And they basically were putting that out to have a tweet so that when the summer comes, a lot of people think it's already a big possibility. And you're literally taking a 50-50 gamble on it, which, you know, if you're a gambler, you take those odds. So that they can go back to that tweet and be like, look, we were the first. We're ITK. We're first in the nose. Meanwhile, every fan in the world that's Man United fan was talking about this. Well, I mean, we got updates about this. I mean, like, you know, Ben Jacobs coming out, Fabrizio coming out, basically saying that Bruno Fernandes, there is no deal for Saudi Arabia next summer. He's 100% focused on Manchester United. Basically calling it fucking nonsense. So, I mean, it was 100% nonsense. Yeah, Indy Kai La. There you go, lie on those. Yeah, so just, I mean, if you're seeing any of that shit, just know that that person is basically full of shit. You know, they've been putting out other stories. They've been getting called out, but there's a lot of people on the internet that get tricked, or you might not be aware. And you might think that it's really credible because, I don't know, you know, they get a lot of likes or something like that. Just, there is no deal. There's no deal. Bruno is 100% focused. If we get to the end of the season, he goes to Saudi Arabia, it's because the season ended and, you know, something else happened. But, so Ben Jacobs was saying that, Turkey is the man behind the potential mid-season friendlies in Saudi Arabia, because we talked about how United are probably going to play in Saudi Arabia because we're not playing matches yet. But Manchester United are prepared to look at all options, so it's not Saudi or nothing. That's when it comes to the friendlies that we might be playing. Apparently, Amarim is looking at Cunha, at Kane. Sorry. At Kane, he already looked at Cunha. He's looking at Cunha every fucking week now. He's looking at Harry Kane. Again, this Harry Kane thing keeps coming up. I'm just looking for this other news that I had, but Axe says he needs to go to sleep. Well, good night then, sir. If you're going to sleep, appreciate you being here. Lyle says, yeah, Ornstein shouting that account out was the worst thing, but their news is so spammy. I don't know how folks fall for it just because of Ornstein. Gullible. Well, the thing is, Lyle, and this is how I think many people don't. And I used to be the same. So I'm not saying like I'm the genius and I'm perfect or anything like that, but I used to fall for the trap till somebody pointed it out and it opened my eyes. And then now I think about it all the time. It's not even that people believe the news, but what has happened now is every time they make a post, the way the internet works, yeah, is the more people you have interacting, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. Because like a tweet or a post on X, there's no dislike button. It's not really like a YouTube sort of algorithm, right? If you post a video and you get 20 likes, but you have 1,000 dislikes, YouTube won't recommend the video. But on X and like Instagram, for example, these social media, they don't have that sort of dislike thing. So if people click on it, if people interact with it, if people like it or retweet it, or if people even comment, even if they go to comment and say you're full of shit, they're still winning. If they have 10,000 people commenting under them and they're saying you're full of shit, you're fake, they still have 10,000 comments, and the algorithm of the internet will push that out because it's a highly replied to post. And a lot of people don't realize that the greatest way ever to destroy somebody that is not credible and is fake and is spreading misinformation and is doing people a disservice would be for people to completely and 100% ignore them, because their tweets wouldn't gain any traction, their tweets wouldn't go anywhere, or posts, whatever. They wouldn't get pushed. But because people don't think about it in that way, they see the information, they see, whatever they post, and immediately they're like, I gotta call them out for bullshit. But at the end of the day, they still win. They're still getting clicks, they're still getting comments, and they're still getting pushed out there more. So, yeah, I mean, in reality, if you kind of had a giant megaphone to everybody on the internet, and we sort of, set up some sort of, basically, like a boycott, and we're like, just nobody interact with that account, nobody interact with it, don't click on it, don't comment, just literally let it die. Let it die. And you would see what would happen. They would cease to exist. But it's all like rage baiting pretty much, because they don't care. It's not like they get a penalty. If they put something out and people hate it, it's not really like they get a penalty for it. I mean, a lot of people might be like, yeah, you're fake. But every time I click on these accounts and I know that they're false and they're spreading basically lies, and you click on the account and you look at the replies, and half of it is people calling them out for bullshit, and the other half is people believing them because they're gullible and they don't know any better, and they don't really know what's going on. They're not really up to date. They're not really in depth involved. So they see something, and it's just as simple of, is this true? Do you really think this is going to happen? Stuff like that. So yeah, this is what happens. Sorry. Elias's thoughts on the Maguire new contract news. I do gotta hit that. So I will in a second. So Lucky says if Bruno Fernandes offer comes summer market, we will report to public, but far as I know, nothing of that kind has happened. Well, that's also a good point. I mean, there's no way Bruno Fernandes would have a deal done with Saudi Arabia and it not get, like, reported out by the football club as well. I mean, so, Axe says, okay, good night, Glazer's out. Well, hopefully, one of these days you wake up, the Glazer's out actually will be gone, Axe. So, same goes for the rest of us. Lyle says, good point. It's like the ghost of Yodi sales debacle. LOL. An account with 9K followers was used as the source. Twitter is dangerous. No, I mean it is. It is dangerous. It's just that it's just that people need to realize, what they're doing. I tried to do this because you know what happened, Lyle? There was a guy back when we were in the initial, when Qatar was potentially maybe gonna buy Manchester United, and there was an account that was pretending to be like ITK for Sheikh Jassim, and he would always put out these posts and tweets that like, oh, the bid is coming, and he's in the lead, and like, he's like, oh, this news source from Qatar is reporting this, and you try and search up the news source. There's no news story on it. It's fake. It was totally bullshit. And I'd go in there and I'd look at the replies, and there'd be a bunch of people calling him out for bullshit. But there's also a ton of people be like, yes, bro, I can't wait. I hope this is happening now. It could have been bots for all I know, but. And I was taking the time, but then I realized I was wasting my time. To all the big account people that were going and replying to him, I was like, don't reply. I was like, all you're doing is helping them win. I was like, all you're doing is helping get their tweets pushed out more. I was like, you're a big account. You have a lot of followers. When you reply to something, your followers see it. They see the tweet. The tweet gets more views. The tweet gets pushed out even further. So I was literally going to, like, I don't know, there was about like 10 big United accounts going on that account and calling them out for bullshit. And I'm like, stop replying to them. I was like, you're helping their goal even further. They're getting attention. I was like, just stop replying to them. Just air the shit out of them. You know? But it was for no reason, because they just kept doing it. So I was like, I give up. I give up. You know, I can't control the internet. I don't want to control the internet, really, but I was just like, I can't. There's nothing I could do. The Qatar takeover was one of that opened my eyes. Legend has it that bit is still imminent. Rio even fell for it. Well, I don't know who the hell Rio was talking to or whatever. I don't know what Rio was talking about. Maybe Rio read the same thing that we read on the internet and ran with it. Which I hope he didn't. I hope he just got some false information by somebody that he knew. But yeah. Lots of our players on international duty so far are doing good. Dorgu against Belarus, 90 minutes played, goal and assist, most dribbles in the match. But again, against Belarus, it's international. I always see that question, like, why do our players do so good when they're on international? And I'm like, I'm sorry if you like international football. I'm not saying I'm sorry that you like international football. I'm saying I apologize for the next statement that's coming out of my mouth. But international football, for the most part, is, when you compare it to league football, level-wise, is quite shit. Yeah? The levels are not the same. So, also, I mean, it's a friendly, and you're playing Belarus. Like, I don't know. Like, Denmark playing Belarus is the equivalent of a Premier League side playing a non-professional team. I don't know. You know, it's the equivalent of a Premier League team going to play against a Sunday League team, essentially. Sorry if anybody's from Belarus. I'm from Malta. I would say the same shit about my own country, yeah? So, you know, it's just how it is. I mean, international, unless you get in a match like it's France versus Spain, or I don't know, England versus Germany, or, you know, whatever, something to that degree. But when you got, like, I don't know, Denmark versus Belarus, or, for example, tomorrow, the Netherlands are playing Malta. The Netherlands versus Malta, I tell you, tomorrow, it's not going to be even fucking close. And if it is close, I'll be astounded. But I expect to lose 5, 6 goals. You know, the Netherlands versus Malta is it's a complete joke. It's a complete joke. Complete joke. Elias says there was a United channel that I started following that was so believable, and they were convinced Qatar won the bid. Credibility went out the window after that. Yeah, many people were caught up to that. I mean, I really kind of did feel like that Qatar was going to win it, because I just figured that they had the money, and that they would pay the money that the Glazers wanted. But ultimately, I think I underestimated the Glazers a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people just really made themselves believe it was going to happen, because that's ultimately what a lot of people wanted to happen. They wanted a full takeover. They also wanted kind of the unlimited money sort of aspect of it. And I think everybody, a lot of people, the majority, truly believe that was probably the best thing that could happen, because it would be the quickest. It'd be the quickest, it'd be the easiest, and it'd be like the total package. And instead what we got is what we're seeing now. Yeah, we're still struggling. Things have changed, and I'm not going to take that away from Ineos, and they've done some good things. They've done some things that are questionable. But I also, this is kind of why I've kind of been in what I've been saying, because I understand the situation we're in. The way they're going about it, it's, you know, if I had the choice, I wouldn't pick this way, but this is the way that it's gone. And then I understand that the process that it has to go through for the current situation that we're in, yeah? Lucky says, at the moment, I expect Ineos buy more club quickly, bid it another team. But I don't know if they have the money for that necessarily either. I don't know if they have the money for that. And they can buy they can buy all the percentage that they want, but if they don't have the majority, they still, it doesn't matter. For them to have the power to refuse a sale at this point, they would have to buy the majority. I don't know if they have the money for that. I don't know if they have the money for that. I don't. And the reason why I don't is because Sir Jim came out and said that he wanted to buy the full club. I think the Glazers basically told them how much it would take. And I don't think Sir Jim or Ineos, either he didn't have the money for it or he wasn't willing to put up that amount of money, which is why he did the deal that he did, which was an investment. Because at the end of the day, he's a businessman, and I think it's quite risky to do a takeover like that and maybe not have it work out with that substantial amount of money, and then all the money that you're going to have to invest after that. I mean, think about it. You have to pay about 6 billion plus for Manchester United. You then have to pay, I think now it's at about 800 million to clear the debt. You then have to pay, because this is what would be expected, yeah, if you take over the football club. You're redoing the entire brand new training complex, state of the art. Everything is state of the art. New stadium or 100% completely brand new, like sort of remade Old Trafford. If you're not doing what they're doing with the stadium now, you'd also have to invest probably another 500 million to a billion in players. So do you have the money for that after you just paid the Glazers 6 to 7 billion? You're talking about another, like, who knows how many billions on top of that. And fans are going to demand that. Fans are going to demand that. And I don't know if he has the money for that. Or if he has the willingness to do that, because it is quite a lot of money. But if you come from one of these other, Middle Eastern countries that have hundreds and hundreds of billions, some of them come from royalty. I mean, it's like nothing to them to a certain degree. Like for Elon Musk, it would be like somebody like him, considering he's the world's richest man. It would be nothing. It would be nothing to do that. But Elon Musk is way richer than Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Way richer. So it's totally different. Lyle says Malta Netherlands game was earlier. Malta lost 4. Oh, that was today. And we lost 4-0. See, I didn't even know, because I was working and I had no clue. And I didn't even check any of the international games. I have no clue of any of the scores. Only one I see is Denmark and Belarus 6-0, because it's being reported by United accounts. But yeah, see? So basically, exactly what I said. I mean, fucking joke. It wasn't even close. 4-0. We did better than Belarus. Conceded 2 less goals. And also, the Netherlands is a much stronger team than Denmark. But, all right. Lucky says he doesn't think new investor should happen. Well, a new investor would be very bad. If they mean investor by investor that they're going to come in and take over the entire football club, 100%, and we're gonna have one brand new owner that owns 100%, I'm all for it. But an investor to split it three ways would be, I think it would be quite weird. I don't think it's likely, but then again, I mean, I don't know. The world is weird sometimes, and also we're dealing with the Glazers, and these guys seem to do things that us common folk don't really get or don't really understand, and they seem to be looking at things that we don't really get to see, I guess. Um, and it wouldn't totally surprise me if they did it, because at the end of the day, let's just say that happens. I'd sit there, I'd take it in, I'd be like, fuck. I'd be like, we're fucked, and this is shit. And then I'd kind of sit there, and my overall summary of the thing would be, I'm not surprised because it's the fucking Glazers. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's likely, because personally, from a common sense, I guess, normal human being that doesn't deal with this shit, I just feel like it would be a very weird thing to do, to now bring in a third party and have them as some sort of a partial owner, and now you have, unless that's their game plan, to just bring in a bunch of different, imagine that's what they do. I mean, that would be one absolute disaster way to get out of this football club, wouldn't it be? If they sold the club bit by bit, billion by billion pound, to a bunch of different people. Basically get all their money, and then they just leave the club. It's like a free for all fight, kind of like last man standing sort of thing, and all the people that are invested in the club basically just rip each other apart, and that would be pretty fucked up. But again, I wouldn't be surprised, because it is the Glazers, and I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. I don't trust them. I wouldn't trust them to breathe the same air as them. Um, might be poison or some shit. I don't know. Simon Stone saying that Manchester United have sent out a survey, a fan survey, asking supporters what they would like the new stadium to look like. So again, the whole new stadium thing is still very far away. So like, there is approval for it. There's obviously some hiccups still going on. It's not like they started building this thing or anything. The plans are there, but at the end of the day, they're just plans. They can be changed. So I don't know if you're kind of like the Glazers, I mean, or if you're somebody kind of looking to buy the whole thing, I mean, that part has already kind of been done for you. Like, the approval is already there, and you can go in and you can change whatever the fuck you want to change. Because it's just at that point. I mean, nothing has really gone on to not be able to change it. But the groundwork, the laying of the groundwork is pretty much done. I mean, plans are drawn up. They went to the council. It's already like a plan in sort of action. I'm sure more things have to be sorted out before you actually start constructing it. But a lot of the groundwork is already done. So if you're a new owner, you come in and you're like, great, that thing's already there, but now I'm going to make all these changes to it. And also, they can fund it themselves if they want, if they're that kind of owner. They could fund the stadium themselves, if that's what they want to do. So Lyle says, true, and the plans have apparently changed with the whole net thing gone and the Trident design is out. Well, the reason why I'm saying that is because, I mean, Simon Stone's literally telling us that they just sent out a whole survey of how they want the fans, of how they want it to look. So clearly you could just make whatever changes you want, because they're still in sort of this planning process. Yeah, like, they've set out a concept, let's say. They've announced the concept, they've announced their idea, but it's not like they've already started building it. And it would be a problem to you got to stop construction or something, and none of that's going on. So Lucky says it's highly unlikely somebody would buy the whole club. Well, I don't know. It might not be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I mean, as based off of what's been reported over the past like 24 hours. I mean, it's still very sort of vague. So it could be highly unlikely, but there could be something actually to it. I mean, I've always said, um, really all it would take is that somebody out there actually comes with the money and offers it to the Glazers. And I think in that way, you then buy the whole club. It's just that there are very few people in the world. And when I say very few, I mean, you could probably count them on one hand. I think you definitely count them on one hand. That can and would be willing to do it. I mean, you look at Qatar, whether it was real or not, and there's still a lot of fighting going on that Sheikh Jassim wasn't real. But all right, regardless if he wasn't real, I think if it wasn't real, Qatar was real, and the Qatar wanted to buy it. Yeah, they didn't buy it because the Glazers asked for more money and they refused to put up that money. If they put up the money that the Glazers asked for, I think the Glazers probably would have sold it. But they didn't do it, and they had a price, and they had sort of a morality about it. They were like, listen, we're paying more than enough. I mean, the club is valued at this, and you've basically doubled or tripled the value of it, and we have to pay off your debt, and we got to fix all the shit you didn't fix, like building a new stadium or revamping Old Trafford and making it brand new again, and getting a brand new training complex with the latest equipment and all that shit, because the pool and all the gym equipment is still the same from when Ronaldo was 21 years of age, and everything else. And they were like, we're gonna have to invest probably $1 billion into the squad. We don't want to pay any more than 5 billion or 5.5 billion, you know. And they were like, Glazers were like, no, give us 6 or give us 7 or whatever it was, and they were like, nah, not doing it, not doing it. But I don't know. We got to see what happens with this sort of UAE consortium that's being reported about. Because I mean, if these guys got a shit ton of money, and maybe they're United fans, and maybe they don't care about paying 6 billion or 7 billion or 8 billion. Maybe they're just like, we want the football club. We want the football club. We want to return it. Maybe they're fans. I don't know. We don't know who they are. So we got to see. We're talking of vague of subjects. Well, that's because that's what we got to go off of right now. But I mean, one man put it out, and this is my thing. Listen, Turkey, being the guy that has 7.5 million followers and is a highly credible, influential figure when it comes to Saudi Arabia and sports and things that are going on, I go off of the basis of, I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but there is no reason for him to come out and put that tweet out and put that information out for clout. There's no actual reason. He's not chasing clout. Like, he doesn't need to be chasing clout. Loads of people already know who he is. And if he wants to, if it was some sort of stunt to stay relevant or something, which I've seen some people say, I mean, he's already pretty fucking relevant. I don't know how much more relevant you kind of need to be. I mean, he's done some big deals already. Loads of people know who he is. And he's kind of still all over the place. So I think there is something there for sure. I just don't know what's actually fully behind it. I don't know what's their full plan. I think there definitely is some sort of consortium that is looking to put in a bid. Maybe they have already put in a bid. I mean, according to him, they're in advanced stages. We are the public. We don't get to know these things till it happens. So, Lyle says exactly. He knows something because that would damage his image since he is the face of Saudi Arabia getting involved in sports. And on top of that, I mean, listen, he is a Manchester United fan, he claims and says. Yeah, again, I don't know the guy personally, so I can't just be like, he's I know for a fact he's a Manchester United fan. I'm with him. We watch the games together. Yeah, we watch the matches together. Um, you know, he says he's a Manchester United fan. Um, he says he loves the club and he wants to just see it good again. And he put out the news. And I think maybe, you know what? To be honest, if it was me, I probably would have done the same. In terms of that, if I'm a Manchester United fan and I know that something is going on and it wouldn't really put the thing going on in jeopardy, I'd be like, listen, Manchester United fans are going through a hard ass time, yeah? Um, it's been rough, dude. And the season has been kind of a little bit iffy start off, and there's been a lot of depression and a lot of negativity. Let me give the people, you know, um, and especially if it works out, yeah. If it works out, if it is true, like if they actually sell the club, well then actually he's a fucking hero, yeah, because he's the one that broke it, and everybody's gonna give him credit for it, um, in that sort of way. So if I knew about it, I'd probably tweet out and be like, I'd probably say it in a different way than he said it, but I'd probably be like, yo, heard there's a bid incoming or something, be on the lookout or something. You know, better days are ahead. I'd probably pull some Ruben Almarim quote and say, yeah, the storm is the sun is coming or something like that. You know, tongue in cheek. I'd copy a little bit of Ruben's quote from last year about the ownership and I'd put it out there, probably because I'd be like, well, you know, from whoever I heard this or how I know it, like, let me give the United fans something. I mean, to be happy about, cheer them up. And also, I mean, if it's pretty credible and it works out, at the end of the day, they're gonna look at me. I don't want to say like a god, but they're gonna look at me like a hero because, like, you know, I came out, I said this stuff, and then it actually happened. So it just adds to my credibility. So yeah, Newcastle fans must be salty. I mean, listen, one thing's being a fan, one thing's being business. And this is the thing I'm saying. See, like, you know, the Saudis, they got that money. But this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why our situation's a bit effed. But also, I think it could be a big possibility because you would need somebody that actually does not, that has a shit ton of money, that actually doesn't give a shit to a certain extent. Because look at the guys that have money. Look at Saudi Arabia. Look at these other, you know what I mean? They have a lot of money. But again, I still hold true to the whole Qatar thing. In the world of the billionaires, I still feel like if you give the Glazers $6 billion for United, a lot of those billionaires would look at it and be like, they'd probably laugh and be like, dude, you totally overpaid, yeah? You totally overpaid. And the Glazers would probably walk off into the sunset like some sort of champions because look at the shit that they pulled in a business move aspect. They came in and paid nothing. They walked away with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 billion. You know what I mean? But if there's a guy out there, or people out there, a group that have the money and just maybe are like us that just want the club. They want the club. They want the fan. You know, they want it to be good again. They're tired of it being shit. They go, fuck it. Whatever we got to give the Glazers to give them. I mean, I assume we'll find out because eventually, one way or another, whether this thing is going to play out. So it's either going to come out as it was fake or it didn't materialize or it did materialize. And we'll get our answer eventually. So, Lyle says it can only help Turkey even more, hence why he had to tweet out again earlier to also save face because any deal can collapse too. Well, it can collapse too. I think he kind of messed that up a little bit, yeah. But I think he had to make that clear because obviously people get carried away because they're like, oh my God, he said it. And then it was sort of vague, yeah? Like he wasn't specific. He also did kind of make it seem like, and I think maybe it was a bit intentional to get his name a little bit associated with it. because he didn't say right off the bat like it's not Saudi Arabia, it's not like, I'm not involved in it. He kind of let that play out, yeah, which I think was sort of a tactic of his. Um, but yeah, I mean, like he then obviously gave us that update after about 24 hours and was like, it's not us that are involved, but it is probably from people they know. So, um, look, he is given an Indian flag. And saying the profit margin, it makes the Glazers look like business geniuses. I mean, essentially, they are. They are. They are. I mean, they are. They don't. It's just the fact that, again, like, they're not. It's not like they're dumb people. Yeah, they're not dumb people. They're not stupid. They just don't. They don't know anything about football, and they don't give a shit. Right? They don't care about the sport. They don't. There's no affection to the sport. They're actually big American football fans, and that's all they ever give a shit about. And they barely probably know about that sport because they're all business people. I mean, business people. What do they really know about sports? They don't have time, and this is why. This is why for Sir Jim, like Sir Jim doesn't really know anything. It's I've more backed about the fact that, like, he's put in, let's say, Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox. These are football people. These are people that have been operating and should have football knowledge. But Sir Jim doesn't know. I mean, Sir Jim, he could say he's a fan, but again, he's like the people that I've met in my life that they tell you they're a football fan or they're a fan of this club, and then you start having a conversation with them, and 2 minutes in, you're like, oh, you're that fan. You're like a very basic surface level. Like, you don't know much in-depth stuff, which is, I'm not trying to say like I'm superior. I'm just saying there's different levels of fans. Like, some people are very basic. I'm like that with other sports. Football is my sport, but like hockey or baseball or something like that, like I'll watch them, but I can't tell you statistics. I can't tell you which player is necessarily better than the other player, but I'll go and watch them. I enjoy watching them. I am a fan of them, but I'm not a fan. Yeah, I'm not. I can't tell you. I can't name you every player on the team. I can't. Like, I will watch the Yankees, for example. I can't. I know most of the players, yeah, but I can't tell you, oh, he's better than that guy, and we should be doing this with the team, or why are they doing this with the pitchers and this and that. I'm not that kind of guy. Even the NFL, I'm a big NFL guy. I watch it every week, but I'm not super in depth on the sport. It's not what I grew up with. It's not what I have the most in depth knowledge. And that's kind of what Sir Jim is. And that's definitely, especially with the Glazers, like, they don't give a shit. They never will, never have. So, how long have we been running for, though? Where's my time? Hour and 38. All right. Double check the internet before we get out, just in case. Um, okay. I'm saying that, hold on. One of the updates that we talked about before, yeah, where and this was from Chris Wheeler, saying that when he said that there was no contact has been made with the club's majority owners so far, which would be the Glazers. I didn't see this last sentence before, I guess, from one of the other aggregators, but in this post, specifically from this aggregator, it says the Glazers have contacted some former players to join the club as ambassadors. Now, this is now my head is spinning, because aggregators, get your shit straight, please, because now we're mixing information. When we were reading the other updates, they said that they're mixing everything up. I mean, I'm gonna have to go do my own research for tomorrow's Friday show, yeah, and really get to the bottom of it, because they're mixing everything up. They were saying that the UAE people have gone to Legends to get them as investors / ambassadors. That post from Chris Wheeler is saying that the Glazers have contacted legends to be ambassadors. To join the club as ambassadors. So now I'm totally confused. Which I hate because I mean, you literally your job as an aggregator is to like not fuck shit up for people and confuse people, and they rush all the time to be first and be right and whatever, and they care more about that than making sure that the information that they're repurposing is correct. Yeah, let me click on this and let me read this. Any club stably now away from the pitch. Well, we'll get that with a brand new owner, full ownership, 100%, and not have a split ownership. Yeah, so insiders at Old Trafford were reportedly surprised by the claims. I mean, I would expect them to be surprised, but I wouldn't expect them to know this. I mean, it's not the same situation as last time. It's not like the Glazers came out and said, we're looking to possibly sell or partial investment. I mean, the Glazers were chilling, and there's a consortium from somewhere in the world that are like, fuck it, let's see if they sell it to us. So why would they know about it? Why would they know about it? Because if I'm doing it, the only people that I'm contacting is the Glazers, because they're the ones I got to deal with. Nobody else needs to know about this. If it was me and I had the money and I was gonna go do the deal, I'm calling Joel and Avram, both or one of them, directly, in one way or another, and talking to them about it or whatever. They're lawyers or whatever, whoever handles that shit. But they're people. Calling them directly, because they're the only people that I got to deal with. Everybody else is irrelevant. The media doesn't need to know shit. The people insiders at Old Trafford don't need to know shit. They don't need to be, it doesn't involve them. It has nothing to do with them. So why would they know? With no awareness of plans, let alone concrete negotiations of an imminent takeover. That's fine. There could still be conversations between these people and the Glazers. The major development from Old Trafford was the acknowledgement that the Glazers would be open to selling their 48.9% stake of the club for £5 billion in what would be a world record sale. Again, this is the Glazers still getting $6 billion. They've gotten $1 billion from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and they're saying that they would sell their 48.9% stake of the club for £5 billion plus pounds, which in total takes it to $6 billion, which is what they asked or wanted from Qatar. So they can possibly still get that. In fact, they probably will get more, because I would assume they're going to ask for more than 5 billion. They'll probably want 5.5 billion or something like that. Yeah, Chris Wheeler is saying that the consortium from UAE are at this stage considering making an offer to the Glazers, which, again, at the very least, there is a consortium. They're from the UAE. We know this much at this part. And again, if I'm doing it and this sort of news came out, and obviously it came out by the guy that we spoke about earlier, I mean, they didn't have a clue. And I don't know how Chris Wheeler is confirming this, but if he has some sort of contact, I would probably tell them 3 steps behind. Tell them tell them like 4 steps behind. Don't tell them what we're at right now. Tell them news from like 5 weeks ago. Yeah. Don't give them the news from today. Put them on the back burner. and this is what I'm saying. Yeah, see, so I think that aggregator wrote it wrong, and this is what I'm saying, because here it clearly states Chris Wheeler saying that they've already contacted some former Manchester United players to come on board with the bid as ambassadors. So yeah, that was the whole point. Says no contact has been made, hence the club's stunned reaction to the news from Turki Al-Sheikh. Again, I don't know how they would know. I don't know how Chris Wheeler would know if there has been contact made with the Glazers. Did he call the fucking Glazers himself? Did he talk to the Glazers? Because whoever he asked, you know, what information are you getting that you would possibly know if there was contact made to the Glazers or not? The Glazers don't have to tell anybody. They don't have to tell you. They don't have to tell the people they work for. And if they did tell the people that work for them, they don't have to tell the journalist anything. So, like, I don't know. I don't really know. But, yeah, I mean, there hasn't really been anything else. But I guess we'll save the rest for the Friday freestyle tomorrow. There is one thing here. Oh, no, never mind. So, yeah. That's it. I'm sure we're going to get a bunch of more news tomorrow. More updates. Might even come later tonight because who knows? Some of the news has been coming out really late for you guys. Late, like 7 p.m. my time. So yeah, I'm excited because I hope it's real. And the possibility that it's even a possibility excites me because I would love nothing more. I dream that this football club gets 100% brand new owner, because it's what we need. It's what we need. It's what we've been needed. And our football club will be saved. Our football club will be saved. We'll be able to compete again. We'll be able to not be a fucking laughing stock anymore. We won't. We will get out of this trash period. And I know this because if you look back into Manchester United's history, I know some of the circumstances are a bit different, but the club Manchester United, this isn't the first time we've had shit, horrible owners. This isn't the first time the football club has been in sort of a bad financial position. In fact, probably in the old times, it was in a way worse financial situation to the point where it literally almost fucking, went under, and folded. But there has been a few times throughout the club's history and periods where we had horrible leadership and ownership, and the club was in shatters. And then what came out of that is that those people left and new people came in. And then when the new people came in, a new era started, and Manchester United was able to grow, succeed, and become good. And we had a very we were already successful. There was things that were going on with the ownership and whatever before the Glazers came in, but to the point of it was good enough that we won the treble already. Yeah, before they even came, we were winning leagues. We finally got there, and the Glazers came in, and luckily we had Sir Alex, and he was able to continue it and carry it through. But once he left, we got what happened to us, which is the worst owners possible. And at some point, one way or another, they have to go, and they will go. And when that happens, our football club will start a new dawn. And that's the only way we'll actually truly ever get out of this era. It needs to be a 100% change. It has to be a 100% change. I still hope things can turn better while Sir Jim and Ineos are here, because I don't think anything the Glazers can do is good, and you have a different type of structure. But if you ask me, we could try Sir Jim's way and see what happens in the next 5 years, or you get a brand new 100% ownership change tomorrow. I'm going with the 100% brand new ownership change solely for the fact that I don't want the Glazers here. And the Glazers need to go. And we need one person commanding this football club with the sole thought of making it great again and doing whatever it takes. And that means spending as much money as possible and literally doing all the right things for the football club. So, yeah, exciting and interesting news for show. Says, yep. Lucky says, I am with Omar Barada. He is a sports guy and cares about football. I mean, so am I. I mean, because he's here for the time being. And he has been here. So, you know, I'm with these guys that are in charge. I want them to do a good job. And if it stays that way, then I hope that they succeed. But again, if you offer me a choice to pick, I would pick something different. But if I don't have a choice to pick, then I will look to see what I can do in terms of support. I believe in giving chances and opportunities. I've been doing so for them. But obviously, for me, it's a no-brainer when you talk about you got one brand new owner, Glazers leave, Ineos are gone too, but one brand new owner, totally different regime. Glazers are no longer associated with a football club. That's ultimately what I want. If Ineos are a casualty of that, then they're a casualty of that. Sorry. But to me, getting the Glazers out of the football club and not being associated with us in any shape, way, or form is the most biggest W that this football club can ever get. It's to me, it's like winning back-to-back trebles. Equivalent. Like the day that they sell and the day that they go, I might literally throw up in a good way because I can already feel it now thinking about it. And if it was real and it happened, the feeling of like it's just I know how it's gonna feel. It's gonna feel like a 10,000 pound boulder was sitting on top of me and somebody lifted that shit up. And now I can just walk again. And like I have no injuries. And it's just going to feel so free to just know that these cretins are no longer just doing this to our football club, yeah? And just like fucking it up. So ultimately that's what I wish for. And I hope it comes true. Because I know many people wish for that as well. And we've been wishing for it for a long time. And we've been through a lot. And it's been very, very hard. And it's been very, very difficult. And it needs to end. It does need to end. If I could press a button, I'd end it now. But at one point, it needs to end. It needs to end. And I hope it ends sooner rather than later. And I hope this is real. I do. I hope it's real. If it's not real, I'll be gutted. But that's life, man. Shit happens, and you move on. But for the time being, I think if you can't dream and you can't hope, then what's the point of even being on this planet? Yeah. So, I'm not one of those people. I've never been one of those people to be so negative, to not believe and not to hope because you don't want to feel the feeling of being crushed when it doesn't work out. You know, that's part of life, man. There's no yin without the yang, yeah? There's no love without hate. There's no hate without love. There's no peace without violence. There's no violence without peace. You know, all of it. There's no fire without water, and there's no water without fire. So let's just hope, man. Let's just hope and believe. And maybe it happens for us. But other than that, on that little outro monologue type of thing, which came purely from the heart, and I don't even know what I was saying, to be quite honest, but it felt kind of inspiring. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, other than that, Friday freestyle tomorrow. Make sure you're there. Don't miss it. It will be at 9 p.m. UK time because that's the time that I could do it because when I get home from work. And it doesn't even give me a lot of time to set up the show. So yeah, make sure you're there. Shout out to all of you for listening and watching and liking and subscribing and getting involved in the chat. And everybody have a good night. Have sweet dreams about having new owners at Manchester United. Have very, very sweet dreams. We're allowed to dream. We're allowed to hope. So, yeah, be good. Stay safe till then. Thank you guys. I appreciate it as always for the support. It's always a massive, 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 massive thing that I never goes unnoticed, and it means a lot for me. So thank you guys. And we'll see each other tomorrow, and then we'll probably take off, a couple days after that. But tomorrow, Friday freestyle, we'll do a little bit of that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So guys, take care. Cheers to all of you. Cheers, Lyle, to yourself as well. And Lyle says cheers, Eric, and to all you Reds. Yep, everybody be good. Have a safe one, and we'll see you tomorrow.